At one point, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was the world's most famous person. "Can you smell what The Rock is cooking?" is his famous slogan, and he has a stunning smile and a toned body. From the WWE ring to Hollywood, he enthralled millions of people. He represented perseverance, achievement, and unstoppability. A man whose collapse seemed inevitable. However, that gleam has broken today. His walking billboard persona has become a burden, from a WrestleMania promo video that became the most hated in the event's history to mediocre podcast appearances to a Maui wildfire charity that was labeled as tone deaf. The Rock lost 5 million Instagram followers in just 5 months, which was a devastating setback for a once untouchable legend. Every falsehood and error tells the tale of a guy whose desire has blinded him. How did someone so widely adored come to be distrusted? How did a famous person who was fixated on winning over everyone end up ruining his own reputation? Come along as we examine Dwayne Johnson's journey from the height of his fame to his protracted decline in popularity in this video. And we have to go back to the beginning in order to comprehend today's fall. The most phony celebrity in Hollywood is The Rock. Because I failed algebra, I can tell you with some degree of ambiguity that I was likely consuming between 6 and I'd say possibly nearly 8,000 calories per day at the time. I can assure you that The Rock does not burn enough calories to maintain this appearance while consuming an average of 6 to 8,000 calories every day. He would be 100 pounds overweight if he truly consumed 6 to 8,000 calories every day. He can't possibly consume as much. The Rock isn't indigenous. Alright, The Rock is not one of my patients. Thus, I'm not concerned about being sued. We will be discussing the steroid cycle that I believe The Rock uses. Dwayne Johnson was not raised in a wrestling family and was not born a star. He had a difficult journey to stardom. He made his WWE debut in 1996 as Rocky Maivia, a likable, innocent babyface. However, the fans booed him and called him a fake Rocky suck. Reverberated throughout games, giving him his first experience of defeat. Unfazed, Johnson changed his persona to become The Rock, a brazen, haughty wrestler with witty advertisements that made fans despise him. It wasn't merely a catchphrase, it was a proclamation: if you can smell what The Rock is cooking. Millions of people around the world revered him as a WWE superstar as a result of this metamorphosis, but the ring was just the beginning. Johnson targeted Hollywood, a much more difficult field. His early appearances in The Rundown, 2003, and The Scorpion King, 2002, were poorly received by critics who dismissed him as shallow and stuck in his wrestler persona. Fast 5 changed the tide in 2011. The Rock shot to fame as an action star thanks to his portrayal of a strong, humorous anti-hero named Luke Hobbs. He rose to fame as a symbol of diligence, self-control, and unwavering determination. However, his ability to reinvent himself was also a weakness. The Rock was very good at being what people wanted. An arrogant wrestler, a valiant action star, or a motivational social media personality. But do people stay loyal to themselves when they change so much to please everyone? Despite his brilliant appearance, his polished image was resting on a shaky foundation, a little fracture that was just ready to burst. There was not much waiting for the crowd. When Johnson criticized anonymous co-stars on the set of Fate of the Furious on Instagram in 2016, the flaws were exposed. Everyone knew he was aiming at Vin Diesel, describing him as cowardly and unprofessional, even if he didn't name names. An action that raised suspicions of tension at the beginning. Johnson reportedly wanted more screen time than his co-stars, special contract terms, and no losing in combat sequences. His friendly star image was destroyed by this. Fans were astonished because they loved The Rock's endearing smile and sense of teamwork. They perceived conceit and selfish ambition under the well-preserved facade. His expectations distorted the fast-paced culture of collaborative heroism. Social media went crazy. Post called him a hypocrite on X, asking whether The Rock is truly the hero he plays. He was supported by some devoted supporters who said he was only looking out for himself. Most, however, felt deceived. The Rock promptly removed the post and posted a video promoting unity and peace. However, the fissure was already present. He could remove the message, but fans wouldn't suspect him. A celebrity will do anything, even the little things, to maintain the spotlight when their brand comes before their humanity. Every aspect of The Rock's public persona was examined from that point on, and even the slightest fabrications caused indignation. The In-N-Out Burger saga is the best illustration. The Rock frequently stated, accompanied by excited pictures and videos, that it was his first trip at the fast food restaurant between 2017 and 2023. He wrote, "I've never been to In-N-Out," in a 2017 photo. He posted a video in 2022 announcing that it was his first time ever trying an In-N-Out burger or anything else from the fast food chain. "I've purchased In-N-Out burgers for friends in the past, but I've never eaten them myself," he continued. "This is my first, then. And the reason that this is a momentous occasion is because I had never before tried an In-N-Out burger, fries, or anything else from the restaurant chain." He praised himself for leaving a nice tip, but by December 2023, he claimed to have had a third first-time encounter with In-N-Out Burger, acting as though he didn't know how to place an order. However, the truth was soon revealed. His previous posts were unearthed by the online community, demonstrating that he had been to In-N-Out on several occasions. The Rock rehearsed this first-time narrative at least 3 times in 6 years, according to a thorough film recorded by well-known YouTuber Penguin Zero that received over 6 million views. He's done it 3 times now. Every few years, he keeps acting like it's his first time trying In-N-Out. Your Instagram page still has the other 2 videos. An ex-user joked that it was the first time he had ever forgotten his PR team script. The Rock eventually added, "First time In-N-Out burger experience again," to his post. "I'm grateful to fans for reminding me that I visited In-N-Out years ago and completely forgot about it. It revealed a painful truth despite being a minor falsehood." The Rock became a living billboard whose every public action was planned to attract attention and increase revenue. Supporters felt duped. Because they trusted his honesty, they had invested in things he promoted, such as Under Armour shoes and Zoa energy drinks. They now viewed him as a well-controlled brand rather than a human. With a revised post and a hazy explanation, The Rock attempted to patch things up, but the damage was already done. An empire might not be overthrown by a single burger, but it was a brick that fell from the wall of his well-constructed image. Fans were outraged by his burger deception, but they were much more dismayed by his body doubts. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is 51 years old and still has an amazing physique. He tags "hardest worker in the room" on 4 of his Instagram videos of himself working out in the morning. He has established a reputation as the world's hardest worker, complete with a radiant smile and sweat trickling onto the gym floor. Millions of young admirers were inspired by this persona, which became a worldwide representation of discipline and grit. With enough persistence, anyone might get a body similar to The Rock's. However, his story gradually began to show flaws. The Rock frequently asserted that in order to keep his enormous muscles, he had to ingest between 6,000 and 8,000 calories per day. Many admirers saw this as evidence of his superhuman abilities, a physique that could do things that were unthinkable. Experts, however, swiftly deemed it ridiculous. "There's no way someone stays that lean eating 8,000 calories, fitness instructor Greg Doucette said plainly. He would gain at least 45 kilograms if he did. Cod rice greens, his well-publicized diet, have roughly 3,000 calories. The 8,000 number is a purposeful exaggeration meant to create a mystique. To put it another way, his eating habits were predetermined to support his brand." His exercise videos are criticized because in one of them, titled Raw Unedited High Intensity, The Rock grimaced during squats and looked strained. However, Doucette revealed that there are only 2 plates on each side. It's like lifting a bag of rice for The Rock. Competitors in bikinis squat more heavily. He's acting to give them the impression that he's straining himself to the edge, but he's not tired. His PR staging used the picture of the tears and sweat as a prop. But observe his facial grimaces. Take note of how he appears to be pressing. 2 plates are on each side of this. A man of Rock's size, power, and stature. This should be an easy task, in my opinion. This is a lot of weight that many bikini contestants could lift. I'm not attempting to humiliate him in any way, but I think you're lying when you claim that this kicked your ass. This was not tough for you in any way. Then the greatest skepticism emerged. Is his body really natural? According to The Rock, he tried steroids once when he was 18 but never again. In interviews, he dismissed the accusations as baseless, but the evidence shows that his body hasn't shrunk with age, rather, it's gotten bigger and leaner than it was in his 30s. Experts find his denials implausible. Eddie Hall suggested that he might use testosterone replacement therapy, saying that Joe Rogan was blunter. Doucette went further. He's not only not natural, in my opinion. I think he's doing everything he can because at 50, that body is unachievable without assistance. The Rock, in my opinion, would be receiving testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT. An excellent thing to accomplish. In actuality, it's incredibly healthy and beneficial to you. HRT won't even get you there. HRT isn't that. In addition, I don't believe he's on hormone replacement therapy. He's probably on the kitchen sink. I believe that he is on all of it, really. In contrast to those in their 40s and 30s, some people do not get that large into their 50s. There are pictures of him in his 30s. He is now much larger and thinner. His iconic statue was eroded by every analysis and piece of evidence. Once associated with diligence, the term was now associated with dishonesty. Millions were encouraged by the idea that hard work is enough, but it turned out to be a charming deception. Selling young people a fantasy that they could never realize if they only followed his guidance. The public had no tolerance. Heavy effort or heavy injections, #rock on roids burst on X, igniting a worldwide mocking storm. He promotes delusions when selling protein shakes. The remarks quickly gained traction. While some devoted supporters attempted to defend him, the majority felt deceived. They believed his story and had spent money on his recommended things, only to discover that their idol may be a living billboard concealing a physique powered by methods he would never acknowledge. The Rock decided to remain silent in the face of the skepticism. He would smile, sidestep inquiries, or reiterate his motto, hard work, during interviews. However, this silence simply made trust disintegrate more quickly. Fans realize they have nothing left to defend but a diminishing limelight when a celebrity avoids the truth. Once a lovely ideal, the icon of effort picture is now revealed to be a flagrant lie. And once that trust was broken, The Rock was a towering body covered in increasingly difficult to hide lies rather than a symbol of willpower. At the gym, this inauthenticity continued. It influenced his film career, as he put all of his money into the grandiose Black Adam movie. The Rock's most audacious plan to introduce a brand new DC superhero universe with himself at its center was Black Adam 2022. In addition to starring, he oversaw almost every element of the movie as its producer. He marketed Black Adam as a revolutionary film for DC. However, despite spending $260 million on production and marketing, the film only made $393 million worldwide. It needs $600 million to break even, according to Insider, but it failed, losing between $50 and $100 million. Rather to take responsibility for the disaster, The Rock gave media misleading information that said Black Adam would make between $52 and $72 million from ancillary sales and streaming partnerships. He posted a recent piece in which some people made fun of Black Adam for losing between $50 and $100 million, but that is totally false. In actuality, The Hollywood Reporter revealed the figures to be inflated, proving the movie was a financial flop. After 25 years, we finally know what The Rock's cooking cookbooks, a former user made fun of. Investors and fans feel duped. Fans who had placed their expectations on The Rock were likewise emotionally devastated by the movie's box office flop. Fans referred to him as a blatant liar on X. One person wrote, "I think we're stupid enough to think a movie that loses tens of millions of dollars is a success." The Rock was compared to a poor mathematician in memes that went popular. Money wasn't the only reason Black Adam failed. For the first time, the public viewed The Rock as a fading star who was prepared to twist the facts in order to save his reputation rather than as the box office king. He spun a false narrative instead of accepting responsibility, which was an indication that he had gone too far to protect his reputation. The Rock lost credibility due to a lack of conviction as well as lying. When Joe Rogan was criticized in 2022 for using racial epithets, The Rock wrote on Instagram that he was a great friend and that he was looking forward to your show and some tequila. You're an inspiration to many, but it's a terrible use of power to use your platform to defend Joe Rogan, who used and laughed with a slur dozens of times, as uproar increased when one user wrote, "Dear The Rock." He retreated rapidly. "Dear Don Winslow," he apologized on social media. "Many thanks. I completely hear you and everyone else here. Before leaving my comment, I was unaware of his use of the slur, but now I know the whole context. I've learned my lesson." His podcast with Rogan revealed this lack of integrity once more. Without allowing Rogan to respond, The Rock controlled the conversation by posing dozens of questions. The Rock asked Joe 100 questions, and Joe didn't answer any of them, according to an ex-comment. "I fell asleep as The Rock babbled about stale topics." According to Rogan, the program was dull and superficial because The Rock avoided any contentious subjects and walked on eggshells. Disappointed, fans referred to him as a living ChatGPT since he consistently provided sterile, unbiased responses. Following the terrible Maui wildfires in 2023, Oprah Winfrey and The Rock established the People's Fund of Maui, requesting for donations from the public and contributing $5 million each. "Any assistance you can give us is much appreciated." However, he uploaded another apology video after being chastised for not contributing enough of his reported $800 million fortune and asking for help from those in need. "Hear and comprehend completely. I'll perform better the next time, even though I could have done better. The math isn't working on an old article that has hundreds of likes. He is extremely wealthy. In a year, he might have donated and received it back. There was some criticism when we first introduced the fund, and I want to address and recognize that criticism now. And my thoughts on that are as follows. I understand. And I am well aware that I might have done better, and I promise to do better the next time." The Rock's lack of a firm stance was exposed in both instances. He quickly changes his opinions to appease the public, turning into a faceless brand. Ads for everything from tour buses to Terra Mina tequila make up about 75% of his Instagram postings, thus the moniker Dwayne "The Ad" Johnson is a perfect fit. When fans saw he was a man riding the tide of public opinion rather than a hero with moral convictions, they lost respect for him. His greatest downfall, however, occurred when he went back to the place where his celebrity started and ruined his own legacy. The Rock joined the WWE Board of Directors on January 23, 2024, and stated, "I'm a builder at heart, building for and serving the people." However, 10 days later, he entered the main plot of WrestleMania 40 and faced 3-year WWE champion Roman Reigns. Cody Rhodes, a well-liked rookie wrestler who had won the Royal Rumble and was anticipated to face Reigns, was disqualified as a result of this decision. Many people thought Cody was pushed out by The Rock's newly acquired boardroom power after he abruptly announced that he would step aside for him. The match's promotional video soon received over 700,000 dislikes on YouTube, making it the most despised move in WWE history. Those who were emotionally immersed in Cody Rhodes' path felt deceived. With thousands of messages criticizing The Rock for taking the limelight away from a more worthy wrestler, the #Cody deserves better went viral on X. The Rock was our hero, but now he's just using his influence to take over someone else's plot. It wasn't simply fans that reacted negatively. Disappointment was expressed by several WWE wrestlers, even some who used to look up to The Rock. In an interview, well-known wrestler Seth Rollins publicly denounced The Rock, saying his behavior was disrespectful to people who had devoted years to WWE. According to an insider, internal conflict resulted from The Rock's meddling in WWE's creative ideas. Because of the overwhelming criticism, WWE changed the plot in April, bringing Cody Rhodes back to defeat Roman Reigns. The Rock stated on Instagram that his departure was a part of a larger scheme to stir up controversy. Bigger plan, more like a strategy to lose fans, several fans sneered. The decades-long affection for The Rock was suddenly gone. He destroyed his own legacy, which was founded on justice and trust, in addition to losing respect. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's decline from box office king to declining star didn't happen overnight, rather, it happened over the course of several years. He lost thousands of Instagram followers every hour for the first time in his career. This was a startling change for a celebrity who had 400 million followers just a year before, when he was acquiring $5 million each month. His upcoming movie projects, such as Jungle Cruise 2 and a Red Notice sequel, were postponed or cancelled. His name, which was previously associated with achievement and motivation, is now associated with recklessness, inauthenticity, and unbridled ambition. Every controversy contributes to the collapse. He exhibited conceit and lies about his diet and propensity to arrange anything for appearances in his post criticizing Vin Diesel. Suspicion of steroids was dispelled. Dream, the effort is sufficient. The failure of Black Adams demonstrated his invincibility. In addition to his living billboard notoriety, his lack of conviction was demonstrated by his blunders on the Joe Rogan and Maui incidents. Finally, the fatal blow that destroyed fans' devotion was given with the 2024 WWE fiasco. The Rock story's moral is extremely clear: attempting to please everyone will not please anyone. The only thing that genuinely ties a person to their audience is authenticity, which is lost when someone turns into a brand. Little lies, unprofessional behavior, and a lack of character were the foundations around which The Rock built his empire. He was a walking business, an action star, and a great wrestler, but he was ultimately just an empty shell. His demise serves as a warning that, in a society when viewers want authenticity, hiding the truth behind phony grins or hollow excuses leads to failure. The Rock forgot that he didn't have to be flawless to be appreciated. All he had to do was be himself. The terrible story of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's demise also teaches us a valuable lesson. He used to be a symbol of perseverance, hope, and achievement. He appeared to be a man who could accomplish anything, but his unbridled ambition twisted him into a distorted version of himself. A walking company that is dishonest and unconnected to reality. Does The Rock have a chance to return? Maybe, but only if he quits trying to be the ideal, unbeatable icon known as The Rock, and gives Dwayne Johnson a hug. An authentic human being having imperfections, errors, and genuineness. From the ashes of his old empire, he must re-establish trust, accept criticism, and take responsibility for his mistakes. The issue yet stands: does Dwayne Johnson have the guts to take off the living billboard mask and face his own self in a society where authenticity is the most valued currency? Or will he continue to concoct up false tales that are stuck in The Rock's shadow forever? Time will tell.